I'm going to start making a few YouTube videos about some more specific techniques, and we'll start organizing them just in case, we can't go back to school, and then I can assign these videos for people to watch and practice some techniques. So the first one I'm going to make a video on is actually the spiccato bow stroke, and this is one of the more advanced bow strokes because it comes off the string. So spiccato is really fun, and it's easy to maybe overwork it and try too hard. That's the thing I see most often, and then students will kind of get this harsh sort of sound because they're not letting the bow bounce, but they're forcing it into bouncing. So how I start practicing spiccato, the bouncing bow stroke, is for the most important thing is that you're in the right part of the bow. If you're out here, it's not really going to work. So try this. You can, here I'm going to turn so you can see me and I can still keep my good posture. So here we go. It's good. So it's important that, first of all, my strings are flat and my bow needs to be at the balance point to get a feel of where that magic spot is, because it's going to be different for each person depending on how long your arms are. So you can try like this. Start at the tip and just bounce. And what I'm doing is I'm not like using my arm, but it's in my hand like this. And it's this whole thing we do in class with the pinky push-ups. That pinky muscle is what is controlling this muscle right here on this side of my hand, is what's controlling that motion. So let me back up even more a little bit then. So you can see that I'm not doing anything crazy with my elbow, but that my arm is tall and I'm just bouncing by. It feels like I'm pushing down with my pinky, but it's really not that much. It's a tiny bit, and here's what happens. So my pinky finger pushes the bow up, and my pointer finger pushes the bow back down. Boom. So try that, and it should feel really easy if the bouncing, but again, it's not some crazy arm motion, but it's just my fingers controlling that. Bounce, 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 and try it in the tip, and try it down here in the frog. You'll notice when you get right to the frog, it's like, doesn't happen. And then there's gonna be a magic spot where it's really bouncy, but it won't go flying away. If I'm way out here in the tip and I bounce it, you see how far it goes away from the string? It goes so far away. But right here, it's closer, and my magical bouncing spot, sorry, my violin needs to be over here. Mine is about there. And now it is going to change depending also on how fast you're going, how slow you're going. So really, spiccato is one of those bow strokes you have to do by feel. So once you get that mechanism of the fingers working in your hand, you can bring yourself just to an open string. I'm going to do it on the A string. The other really important thing with spiccato, it needs to start on the string. It does come off the string, but if you start from the sky and you come down, you're going to get a crashing sound for your first sound instead of a clear sound for your first sound. So start on the string. The first sound pulls from the string, and then you come up and you bounce. Sometimes that sounds kind of skitty and not super great. You really want to connect to the string every time. To get a ringing sound instead of what I call a chicken pecking sound. We don't want that sort of pecking sound. We want a brushy, ringing. It feels like almost like a paintbrush, and it sounds very ringy. Another thing that will help, if you have all your hair flat, it's not going to work. So I tilt a little bit, so I'm only using some of the hair, and that makes it a lot easier. So 2 tricks for spiccato. Tilt the bow, make sure you're in the right part of the bow, and it should be not too hard. Oh, I crashed. Did you hear it? From the string. Let's try it now. I'm going to do a minute of spiccato without stopping, and you can practice with me. Let's go. Ticka, ticka, 1, 2, A string, go. So as you can see, even mine are not super duper even all the way through, and I can notice my arm getting tired, my pinky getting tense. And as you're playing that spiccato, I would encourage you to adjust your arms as you go, adjust your hand, make sure it feels good, because if it feels good, it's going to sound good. So happy spiccato practicing.